Hi, and welcome to Max at the Movies. I am Max Varrow, and today we're looking at three films. The first film we're looking at is from 1972, The Godfather, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, and it stars Marlon Brando, Al Pacino, Diane Keaton, Talia Shire, and James Caan. Now, this movie, best way for me to summarize it, it is a generational drama involving the Corleone family, headed by Marlon Brando, and it is tremendous. Especially what's impressive is how they're able to compress so many stories into one movie. It is amazing. So we see Vito's, he's already at I wouldn't say the twilight of his life, but he's aging, he's getting older, he's getting tired. And his son Santino, played by James Caan, is on the way to assuming leadership of the family. And Al Pacino, his character Michael's being encouraged to pursue outside interest. Vito wants his son Michael to become the first legitimate Corleone who's not involved with the family business, who stands on his own. And Michael is a World War II veteran, Marine. He's a college educated, he's an attorney. His whole life's ahead of him. He's about to get married to Diane Keaton's character, and he has his whole life right in front of him. But the tragedy of the movie is that Michael's love and loyalty to his family is what ultimately destroys him. So he feels the need to assume his standing in the family. Because Santino, by James Caan, he is intense, he is hot-tempered. Connie marries some chump who beats her. Fredo is kind of weak and suffers from middle child syndrome in the worst way. So, and Michael, he is cold, he is calculating, he is calm, he's intelligent. He has all the traits to either become an amazing person outside the family, become a great attorney, or he can take his place and surpass his father in terms of running the family and cementing the Corleone name in the crime mafia industry. I got no better way to put it. So that's the tragedy there. While his father would prefer Michael have done other things, it's Michael's, again, love for his father, the love for his family, the need to avenge his family in certain respects, that leads him to that decision. And when Michael decides to assume that role of taking over the family business, he loses his soul in the process. So at the very end, you see, though Michael thrives, inside, he's hollowed out. He's a different person, and the weight and the consequences of his actions throughout the film, definitely you'll see. He starts the film as wide-eyed, not wide-eyed and naive, but he's at the cusp of his life. And by the time we get to him at the end, you see that the burdens are becoming heavy, and he has no other choice but to accept his consequences and his destiny that he himself has chosen. So I have to admit, I can see why this movie won so many awards. It's very hard to criticize this movie, but the few things I will criticize, one is the pacing. For a movie like this, there's areas where it does get slow. This movie is character and dialogue heavy. So if you're looking for like a high impact, big shootout, big set pieces, a lot of action, this is not that kind of movie. In fact, there is violence in the movie, but I wouldn't say it's restrained. I would say the violence in The Godfather is short and brutal. There's a scene in the first act where they're trying to muscle this producer to hiring somebody that Vito wants to go and be in the movie. And the infamous waking up in the morning with a severed horse's head in the bed. Thankfully they don't show you how they trap and kill the horse. You just see the aftermath, but it's a very bloody mess, very impactful, and it definitely sends a message that as nice as Vito and his family may seem, they can be very ruthless. So I think every movie since then has some form or another can trace the influence down to this movie. So, again, I know the nitpicking on the pacing and the dialogue heavy is very superficial, but that's one thing I will point out, especially for my younger audience, that if you're looking for something quick, you can just stream in the background while you're doing dishes or working out. This is not the kind of movie. You have to dedicate at least a Sunday afternoon, sit down, relax, and watch the film, and to really enjoy it and to really experience the impact that The Godfather is. So my rating is a 4.5 out of 5 stars. And in a future episode, we'll discuss The Godfather 2, and it'll become very clear why I'm holding back the 5-star rating. So, The Godfather, 4.5 out of 5 stars. Now let's jump ahead to the 1980s. We're going down to 1987, I believe. And we're going to visit a movie starring Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. Now, it's a comedy film, a romantic comedy, but I'm going to tell everybody to please put aside your lens for now, the 21st century lens, and let me just tell you about the movie. And I promise you, I will point out some issues with this movie that was even transparent back then. So the movie we're talking about is Overboard. Now, the best way to paint this picture is imagine this is a modern American fairy tale. We have somebody who's very rich and they're entitled and they're disconnected from everybody, and then life humbles them and they have to spend a small part of their life experiencing the hardships of a regular person. Now, would this wealthy, entitled person become better or worse? That's kind of the kick for this movie here. So Goldie Hawn, she plays a wealthy woman who cruises around the world in her fancy yacht. She's got her stereotypical douchebag husband who just hangs around and just mopes off her wealth. She has her long-suffering butler, played by screen legend Roddy McDowall. And she decides to stop by Elk Cove, Oregon, to get some resupply and some work done on her yacht. She wants bigger closet space. So she hires Kurt Russell, who plays Dean Prophet. And now Dean Prophet, he does good work. He goes in there and he does very good work on her closet. But of course, she finds a reason to nitpick. And by the end of the scene, Kurt Russell is literally overboard. Title drop. It happens. In fact, the whole Overboard happens more than once. And not long after that, Goldie Hawn herself, Joanna, she goes out in the middle of the night to look for an earring or a ring, and she slips off the boat. And she's rescued by, I want to say, a garbage scow or fisherman. And so they take her in, and she's suffering from amnesia. And her husband, while he has the chance, he's actually there at the hospital. He's about to tell the authorities, "This is my wife. I'm here to pick her up. We'll treat her from the amnesia and everything." Then he sees that she's being very bitchy. She's being very bossy. She's being very difficult. So the husband decides he's going to take this opportunity to go party. So he takes her boat, sails down in Mexico to go party in Tijuana and whatnot, and have a good old time, because technically his wife, she's out of her head, so he can play and she will never know the difference. Kurt Russell gets the idea. He wants payback because she threw him overboard. She didn't pay him. She tossed out his tools, so he lost his tools, and he's a carpenter, so he needs his tools. So he decides to get a little payback by pretending to be her husband. And his goal is to have Joanna take care of his house, deal with his 4 terrible kids, and pretty much work off the debt. So, again, we'll talk about the problems of the film momentarily. So, he's able to convince the authorities that he takes her home. I will say he is respectful. I mean, he does try to put the moves on her, but when she shuts it down, he respects her boundaries. So I gotta give him a little credit for that. He does respect her boundaries when she doesn't feel comfortable laying down next to him or having relations. He respects that, so he doesn't try any further. He tries once and then moves on. And I tell you one thing, both Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, I mean, they have that on-screen chemistry. I mean, I know they're dating in real life, but even then, they're still both professionals. But you see the chemistry, you see Kurt Russell's charm, and Goldie Hawn. I mean, she can go play a cold, calculating woman to somebody who's warm and affectionate and powerful at the next scene. And I tell you one thing about Goldie Hawn's character: she rises to the occasion. At first, it's all a culture shock. It's all a shock because she doesn't remember her identity. She doesn't remember her past. She's being told that she has 4 boys. She lives in a dump, and everything's a mess, and this is her life. And she refuses to accept that. So instead of feeling sorry for herself, she takes charge. And she gets the house in order. She gets the boys in line. She does everything she can to support Dean in his endeavors. And in fact, she even encourages him with one of his ideas to go into business for himself. And they open up a miniature golf course. I mean, it's tremendous the impact she has on their lives. And so at the second act, she's settling into her life as a housewife and a mother. And you can still see she still has those traits. She is a natural leader. She's very intelligent. And she does have some dreams where she imagines she was living a different life. So eventually her mom is calling because she wants to talk to her. And when the husband, who's been out there partying, realizes that the mom is not giving up and she's gonna show up and find her daughter, he has to go back to Oregon to pick her up. And that's where hearts are ripped out, because as soon as she sees her real husband, her life, her identity, her memory all come back. And she leaves because she knows this is not her place. And I mean, you can't help but feel it. The second act downer. But I tell you one thing, the third act, it is real nice. And we do see Goldie Hawn, again, her character grows. She learns. And Roddy McDowall even tells her, the butler, that she has had the experience of living 2 lives. And what she does with that experience is up to her. So the ending is very sweet. It's the kind of movie that it's designed to make you laugh at the premise and go home happy. So I do recommend Overboard. Now, before I give my rating, the problems. I was talking about this with a coworker, and she and I were recognizing the problems. First of all, again, fairy tale. Fairy tale, it works. In real life, there's no way in hell a hospital or the cops is going to release somebody with amnesia to a different person if they have no proof. I mean, Kurt Russell's character, he didn't have a marriage license or pictures, nothing to show he knew her. The only reason why they let her go is because he saw her in the yacht wearing a G-string, so he knows she has a birthmark on her butt cheek. And that's what allows Kurt Russell to take her home. In real life, that would never happen, you know? I mean, come on. That is one of the issues there. Among the others, you know, the fact that he took advantage of her because she's helpless. She doesn't have her memory. But as I mentioned before, he does respect her boundaries when she says no. She wants her comfortable, so he doesn't try it again. So that's kind of like the biggest cringe moment in the movie. But if you look past that and don't take it too seriously and look at it as a fairy tale, as a fable, as a fantasy, the movie does work. Now, Overboard, aside from the problems we discussed about the plot, it's a tremendous film. It does have its moments of laughs. It's heartwarming. In the end, I mean, it may bring a tear to your eye. It is a beautiful ending. Overboard, I give 4 out of 5 stars. I would recommend you watch it. Now, finally, we're going to end this episode with a nice, dumb popcorn movie. Now, let me kind of set it up for you. In 1995, it was a tremendous summer. And back then, in the 90s, maybe not so much now, a lot of big popcorn movies had tie-ins with fast food. The most famous one, which we're not going to discuss today, is the Batman Forever. Batman Forever was really huge. I got stories behind that. That has to be his own episode. But today we're discussing another movie that I think is very fun, but also very dumb. 1995's Congo, written by Michael Crichton, which is based off one of his books. Now, this movie, I've been trying to think the best way to describe and summarize this film while doing it justice. So, The movie takes place in what is now the Democratic Republic of Congo, formerly Zaire. And there's two main storylines. The first one is Dylan Walsh plays a professor, and he taught a mountain gorilla named Amy how to talk. And she talks with the assistance not only of just sign language, American Sign Language, but she's got a device that allows her, as she does her sign language, it will translate it into speech. So it will allow her, and in theory, others who are unable to speak, to communicate with those who can. So it's a tremendous device, and the gorilla can communicate. But Amy the gorilla, she's been having some nightmares. So Dylan Walsh thinks that she needs to go back home to the jungle. So his mission is to take her back to Zaire, Congo, and take her back to the jungle so she can assume a life among other apes. And they're assisted by a wonderful character actor played by Tim Curry. He plays Mr. Homolka. He kind of sets everything up, and they find out that he's full of crap. And that's where the secondary protagonist, she enters in, played by Laura Linney. Now, Laura Linney, she's a complete badass in this film. I mean, even before she even starts literally kicking ass, you can just tell by the way she carries herself. She's no nonsense. She don't put up with bullshit, but she's very capable. And she works for a company named Traviscom. And the CEO is played by Joe Don Baker. And Joe Don Baker's son, played by legendary Bruce Campbell, he's out there in the jungle. He discovers a cache of diamonds, and then his communication is disrupted. They think he might have been kidnapped by gorillas or actual killer gorillas. We don't know. So Laura Linney plays a character named Karen Ross, and she agrees to go to the Congo to rescue Bruce Campbell, not to find diamonds. But Joe Don Baker, he don't give two shits about Bruce Campbell. He just wants those diamonds. So, of course, he lies and tells her, yes, go find my son. And since you're there, keep an eye out for those diamonds, will you? So that's where those two plot lines converge. So you have the professor with the ape trying to take her back to the Congo. You got this kick-ass former CIA operative working for a huge telecom company on a personal search and rescue mission. So both parties need each other, and they all meet at the airport, and they go off to the Congo, where they meet a third main hero. And I swear they missed an opportunity to give this guy a franchise of his own. It is none other than Ernie Hudson, and he plays Monroe, the great white hunter, who in his words, the great white hunter who happens to be black. I mean, this movie is based on a book, and character Monroe is the stereotypical great white hunter. But this is an example where I'm glad they chose an actor based on his natural charisma and screen presence. And so the whole swampiness is incidental. I mean, you watch this movie without reading the book. I mean, Ernie Hudson, he has the charisma, he has the presence, he has the charm, but he's also very capable. And what I like about him is that he looks like a man who can take care of himself, but he's not stupid. He's not going to go out there and get himself in trouble or in harm's way if he can avoid it. So it's not hard to, it's hard not to like this guy. So, I mean, he only comes in the second and in the middle of the second act, but once he does, it is tremendous. So this is a popcorn movie. We're in the jungle. We're traveling through the jungle. We're trying to get back Amy to her roots, and Tim Curry is looking for the lost city of Zinj, and that's where the diamonds are believed to be located. So again, Laura Linney's only interested in finding Bruce Campbell. Tim Curry is looking for those diamonds, and Dylan Walsh is just trying to make sure his ape Amy is able to go back into the jungle and be safe. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of stupid action. There are killer gorillas, and they do come out at the end towards the third act, and they're used very briefly, but trust me, it works that way. Otherwise, it would definitely have lost its charm. So for a big popcorn movie like this, I gotta be fair, I give it 3 stars out of 5. I mean, it does have its problems, but it is a lot of fun. So if you're going in there expecting something deep, like the Andromeda Strain, or something as impactful and adventurous like Jurassic Park, you may be disappointed. But if you're looking for something that's fun, hey, we're putting together a group to go into the jungle, to go on an adventure, this is your kind of film. Now, one story I will share about this, Taco Bell had the fast food tie-in promotion with Congo. And I'll tell you one thing, they had, aside from a series of watches you can buy, and you can find them on eBay, they had the volcano taco and the volcano burrito. And it was like this creamy red-orange sauce that was tremendous. But but anybody who lived back then and ate that food can tell you, it tasted good going in and it burnt on the way out. So that's why I remember that, because I wanted to try that damn volcano taco. And again, that's the best way I can put it in there. Tasted great, but damn it, I wish I would have ate some ice cream before or afterwards, because wow, it set you on fire, and not in the good way. So so that's it for our show today. So the recap, The Godfather, it gets 4.5 out of 5 stars. Overboard gets 4 stars out of 5, and Congo gets 3 out of 5. So I do recommend all these films. I mean, you can find them out there in your favorite streaming platform, or you can find it on hard disk. It's worth a watch. But naturally, I would advise you, before you go and buy the hard copy, definitely watch it on streaming or rent it and get a feel for it. But as always, just don't take my word for it. Check it out for yourself. I'm Max Varrow, and thank you for watching. Now, before you go, I want to mention our show today. It's sponsored by my latest short story, Light Tracer. Light Tracer is a story about 2 AI probes, one from the Milky Way and one from a different galaxy. And they are exploring the universe, and somehow, some way, they have a child that they name Light Tracer, or Tracy for short. As the 3 of them are trying to make their way in the cosmos, they unfortunately attract the attention of another AI life form called Omega. And Torchy, the father, realizes that his family is in great danger, because Omega, while he may be indifferent, he's also, based on his own nature, a very sinister presence, and he must not be allowed anywhere near the family. So that's what Light Tracer is all about. It's a lot of fun. So if you like a nice story about family, of exploration and adventure, then I highly recommend that. Light Tracer is available right now on Amazon as an ebook and paperback. So please, if you're looking for a fun new story for yourself or for the family, go pick it up. And if you're a Amazon Kindle Unlimited customer, you can read this out for free. Once again, I'm Max Varrow. Thank you very much.